So now I want to show you how to convert a fraction into a decimal, So it's very easy. A fraction is more of a division. And so basically what we do is do the long division. For example, if you're asked to convert 7 over 20 into a decimal, you basically say 7 divided by 20. 7 divided by 20. And because 20 cannot go into 7, 20 is larger than 7, you say it cannot. It cannot means it is 0. 0 means nothing. So it cannot, you put a 0, then add a 0 here. So then 20 goes into 70 how many times? 3 times because of 60. You write 60 down there. Then what is the remainder? Remainder is 10. Then you add a 0. To continue dividing, you add a 0. You add a 0. In the event that this 0 hasn't worked, if the event that you're going to add another 0, then you add another 0 here. But now because after adding this 0, 20 can go into 100. 5 times, you put 5, then it goes to 100. So your final answer becomes 0.35 is the same. So 7 over 20 is the same as 0.35. So you can also have another example. Suppose you have 3.3 over 8. 3 over 8. If you have 3 over 8, then you are told to divide this, to make this, to convert this into a fraction, into a decimal. Then using long division, you will divide 3 over 8. So 8 goes into 3 how many times? 0 times. It doesn't go into 3 anytime. So you put a 0. So anytime you put a 0 up here, make sure you put a 0 down there. Okay. So 0 point. So can it go into 30 times? Yes. Into 30, yes. How many times? 4 times. 4, no, 3 times because of 24. Because 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. So remainder, what does it mean? 30 minus 24 is 6. Does 8 go into 6? No, of course. So you add a 0 here. You can have as many zeros. So does 8 goes to 60? Yes. How many times? 7 times because of 56. Then remainder what? Remainder 4. So you add a 0 there. Does 8 go into 40? Yes. How many times? 5 times because of 40. So at the end of the day, you have 3 over 8 is the same as 0.375. And that's how you convert fractions into decimals. This way you can convert any fraction into decimal. Now, the interesting thing comes when you have maybe a 10, like 2 over 10, or where the denominator is a multiple of 10. That one becomes very easy and very interesting, because if you divide 2 divide by 10, 10 goes into 2 0 times, then you add a 0 here, then it goes, 10 goes into 20 2 times for you to get 20. Then you have 2 over 10 is like 0.2. So the interesting bit is that when you are dividing by a multiple of 10, then the easiest way is to point a 0 to a number, point the zeros into number. So then where there is 1, you point a decimal point, such that it will become 0.2. So if you also had 2 over 1,000, for example, this one will be 2, you point 0 to 2. This next 0, you point it to a number. So there is no number, so we put a 0. Then this other 0, you also point it to a number. You put a 0 in order to point it to a number. Then this one, you point it to a decimal. So your answer will be 0.002. Similarly, if you have 73 divided by 100, then you'll say this 0 goes to this number, the second 0 goes to 7, and the 1 goes into a decimal. So you end up having 0.73. So that is the beauty on dividing with a multiple of 10. Otherwise, you can still go to the long division, and you will realize that you will still get the same answer. If you do this, you still get the same answer, where 100 goes into 73 0 times. Then it also goes to, you add a 0, it goes to 737 times because of 700. Then you remain with 30, and it goes to 300 3 times, and you end up with 0.73.